Hello and welcome to the Cinematic Attic. I'm Mike. How you doing? I'm recording this on a new device, so hopefully there are no problems. But let's get into what new physical media, DVDs, Blu-rays that I picked up since the last video. So first, from Vinegar Syndrome and Company. From their March releases, I picked up Freeway 2, Confessions of a Trick Baby. I've been wanting to see this for a long time. I've been looking for, the DVD or whatnot. This is the cover that I believe most people might be familiar with. Just never found it, so very happy Vinegar Syndrome put this out. Can't wait to check that out. From the Fun City Editions partner label, which I thought was already gone, but guess not. Breathless. I picked this one up to upgrade this VHS. From AGFA, Shaolin Invincibles. Also, 7-1. Double feature of Kung Fu films. I got this mainly because I have Shaolin Invincibles on one of those old cheap $1 DVDs that has terrible print. So I wanted to get that in better widescreen edition. But I have a feeling I might have bought this anyway just because it looks ridiculous. As in ridiculous amazing. So anyway, got that one. And I did get slip covers on this order. This one, however, I missed out on the initial run of this. It totally sold out. But I could see that they were going to put more out. So I did get my copy of Attack of the Beast Creatures. I've seen this movie. It's crazy. Love that cover. But finally got a copy. Attack of the Beast Creatures. Last time around, I talked about Elvira DVDs from Shout Factory and how I was trying to get better copies of all of the movies that were included in those sets, those discs. This was the last one I was waiting on. Had to wait for it to officially come out. From Arrow, The House That Screamed. And then also from Arrow. This one, it's been out, I believe, for a while. It was highly recommended to me. It's currently on Netflix. I currently don't have Netflix. I saw that Arrow put it out in Region B. So I picked up I See You. I watched it. It's pretty good. But according to this, it is Region B, so from what I can tell, you would need a Region free player to watch this Blu-ray. I think it does have at least a DVD release here in the States. From Kino Lorber. Only one pickup, and it's not a new one. One of the best movies I watched last month, The Tarnished Angels. It's another Douglas Sirk film. I shouldn't have expected any kind of movie that might have been bad, but this was amazing. Douglas Sirk, who is the director of one of my top 4 all-time favorite movies, All That Heaven Allows. He also did Magnificent Obsession, which is another of my favorites. Plus all sorts of other well-known ones like Imitation of Life, Written on the Wind. Written on the Wind shares this cast. Rock Hudson, Robert Stack, and Dorothy Malone. And I have seen that. But this is the film that made me really, made me into a fan of Dorothy Malone, for one. But this was just fantastic. So I'm sure at some point I'll be talking about this more. Picked up this DVD release that's been out for at least a decade. It's a 4-movie set from, I believe, Timeless, featuring The Amazing Transparent Man, Reptilicus, the Brain That Wouldn't Die, and the Neanderthal Man. Now I have Reptilicus already. Amazing Transparent Man and the Brain That Wouldn't Die. I have those in cheap public domain versions. So I got this to have better versions of those, but I didn't have the Neanderthal Man at all. So I found this for under $10, so I just grabbed it. Upgrading a full screen DVD. I got this, I believe, out of print Blu-ray from 88 Films. Bloodsucking Pharaohs in Pittsburgh. I keep wanting to say of Pittsburgh because that just makes more sense to me, but it's in Pittsburgh. I'm keeping the DVD because it has special features that aren't here, but I did want to get it in widescreen. From Shout. Got some Shout Select titles. Amazon had a sale on Shout Select. This first one I got for $10, basically. This Gun for Hire. Veronica Lake, Robert Preston. Who doesn't like Veronica Lake? This will upgrade this VHS. But I grabbed that one. And then I also grabbed some Sonny Chiba in that same sale. Street Fighter Collection, which has the 3 Street Fighter films from Sonny Chiba. I love Sonny Chiba, although I've seen far too few of his films. I do enjoy his films. This, for me, kind of upgrades the first 2, I think, at least the first one, from a Mill Creek 50 movie box sets. And then for the third one, it eliminates this VHS. So, grab that. And then it's Sonny Chiba month, apparently. I also went after on eBay Sonny Chiba Collection, another Shout Select collection. This one has 7 films from Sonny. The 2 Yakuza Wolf films, the 2 Bodyguard films, Shogun's Shadow, Samurai Reincarnation, and Swords of Vengeance. The only one of these that I've seen and have is the first Bodyguard, or Bodyguard Kiba, as this says, which I had in one of those cheap $1 full screen terrible print DVDs, so this upgrades that. But yeah, so I grabbed that. And then more Chiba. From BCI Clips, I grabbed this from eBay. This is the Masutatsu Oyama trilogy of Karate Bullfighter, Karate Bear Fighter, and Karate for Life. I watched recently the first one, Karate Bullfighter, which I have on another cheap $1 full screen terrible print DVD under the title Champion of Death, and greatly enjoyed it. So I went ahead and grabbed this because I saw that it existed and got all 3 of these films in one box. And I see that they recently put out an Executioner set for Sonny Chiba. I didn't get that, but I'm sure someday I will. From Warner Archive, picked up this DVD. It was cheap. I Know My First Name is Steven. This I first watched in 1989 when it came on TV as a 2-part TV movie, miniseries, if you will, 2-night event thing. And I remember in 1989 when I was young, kind of creeped me out because, it's about a child being abducted and taken away from his family, so on and so forth. I remember this guy I used to buy comics from, kind of looked like the actor who played the abductor, so that made it extra creepy. Um, but I wanted to get this way back when Warner Archive first put it out, which was probably more than a decade ago. Just forgot about it, but I saw it pop up for cheap and grabbed it. And the last two items are Criterion. I have been holding off on this one for quite some time because of the price. But I finally went ahead and got the Bruce Lee, his greatest hits collection. So we got from Sonny Chiba to Bruce Lee. Can't beat all that. This has all of Bruce Lee's films, The Big Boss, Fist of Fury, Way of the Dragon, Enter the Dragon, and Game of Death. It also includes Game of Death 2 that has some footage of him. This is Bruce Lee in a box right here. If you're looking to just grab a complete Bruce Lee collection, this is it right here. I finally got it for a relatively decent price from someone on eBay, and it upgrades some things for me, including these 3 VHS. And I'm still keeping my Enter the Dragon DVD because it has some bonus documentaries that aren't on here, although this does have its share of bonus documentaries. So, yeah, Bruce Lee, his greatest hits. 7-disc box. And finally, something I've been after since 2016 when I first saw this film on Turner Classic Movies. This has been out of print, and it's gone for a lot of money. I recently found a copy that wasn't too terrible in price on eBay and had to do it. Pandora's Box from 1929 with Louise Brooks. This edition is 2 discs. It comes also with an entire book. But yeah, this has been out of print and kind of out of my price range for some time, but finally grabbed it. And it will upgrade this VHS that I've had to fill that void since I first saw this movie. But yeah, more on this later. So yeah, that's everything of note that I picked up recently. Here's everything else I picked up. As mentioned last episode, I had this on the way. Got the last Elvira DVD to complete that collection. Some Goodwill purchases. And these two will upgrade these to VHS. And I find it funny that these were both previously viewed rentals at Blockbuster. What you're looking at here, some shelves from an antique mall that I haven't been to in quite a while. This place never disappoints. I usually leave with some amount of DVDs or Blu-rays or whatnot. These are just a couple booths. A lot of booths had movies. But yeah, very happy to go back to this antique mall. Where I got some movies. But the big score of this visit was television. Lots of television, lots of seasons of television. I got these over here for like $1 or so. All of these over here, $1.50 each. So of course I could not leave any of them behind at that price. So I got a lot of television seasons. In this case, the entire series. and some VHS then for deletion. From a Goodwill, got some DVDs. Found this Synapse disc, and it will upgrade this VHS. Also, free with Disney reward points, got this DVD. Actually, it looks like I already have this one, so never mind. Got these few items from Big Lots. And I got these two items from eBay. This one is first season to upgrade VHS of the first season, which I am still keeping. And then this to upgrade and replace the VHS. Went to two Goodwills. At one store, I got these items. Including a Warner Archive disc. And at the other Goodwill, I got these items. So all of these VHS can now be deleted from the collection. Some Goodwill finds. And these three will upgrade these VHS. I discovered this DVD does not play, at least not past 30 minutes. So I replaced it and this VHS with this Blu-ray. So for this episode's entries into the Pantheon, my list of my all-time favorite films, I have two from Criterion. First one we just looked at, Pandora's Box from 1929. This one is directed by G.W. Pabst, starring Louise Brooks in one of her most iconic roles. She did at least one, maybe two other films with G.W. Pabst. Diary of a Lost Girl is another one I have seen. But this is the one that got my attention. Back in around 2016 or so, I watched this on Turner Classic Movies, along with Diary of a Lost Girl as a double feature. Thought they were fantastic, especially this one. And of course, this is the one that has always stood out. In this one, she plays, as it says here, a fiery, brash, yet innocent showgirl named Lulu. And she has a devastating effect on everyone she comes in contact with. And this has a lot of stuff in it that some people might find shocking to be in a 1929 silent film, but it is from Germany, so it didn't quite have all of the limitations that it might have had if it were made in Hollywood, even though this still would have been pre-code. But even so, this movie is somewhat shocking. There is an ending that is certainly downbeat. I won't give it away, but it does involve a real historical character. So it almost kind of has some of that playing with reality at the end, like Tarantino does. But yeah, this was just fantastic. always wanted to own this Criterion edition, as I said earlier. If you want to see um, a great example of Louise Brooks and why she was great, if you want to see a great example of silent film, this is good stuff right here. So yeah, Pandora's Box, 1929. Jumping forward to 1962, another longtime favorite from Luis Buñuel, The Exterminating Angel. This, if you know anything about Buñuel, you know his films are legitimately filed under surreal. A lot of people use that word to describe anything that's a little strange. This truly is one of those kind of pieces of art that reflect that description. This I first saw in college. It was shown to me in a class. I loved it then. I wanted to buy it then, and we're talking at this point, I think late 90s when I saw this in college. And the only thing that existed was an out of print VHS. And at the time, sure I could get that, but it was like $80. And the only place I really had access to it was the college library, where the instructor got his copy to show us. So this really wasn't out in anything else. And then, let's see, what year was this? 2008. Criterion put this out on disc. This is the DVD. And this is the first Criterion edition I went to the store and bought at full price. I bought this at a Borders bookstore as soon as I knew it existed. So this was probably like 30 bucks. Could not wait. Very happy to have this. This involves a group of high society friends that are in a mansion for dinner, and they inexplicably find themselves unable to leave. They just can't leave the room, basically. And you see how these high society people break down as a microcosm of their high society in one room breaking down. And it's just full of all sorts of interesting and insane events. There are also a lot of surreal images and things. There are sheep that, you can see that sheep there, that walk through different places. It's funny because at the beginning of this film there's some title card that says not to look for, I don't know, symbolism or metaphor or something like that in this film, and I say, yeah, right. Don't give me that. This is full of it. But yeah, this is fantastic stuff. Exterminating Angel, 1962, Luis Buñuel. Yeah. Now I have some bonus entries for this episode. Back in episode 159, I went through a whole bunch of films that are in my pantheon of favorite films of all time that are pretty common movies that a lot of people have heard of, a lot of people might already own. And I've added a few to that list that I even mentioned back then. First one being The Road Warrior, the second Mad Max movie, also known as Mad Max 2. At the time I did that episode, I mentioned that, yeah, the first Mad Max is in the Pantheon, but this one wasn't. Yet. Well, after some thought and consideration, it wasn't hard for me to say, yep, I include this in my favorite movies of all time. Even though, with my sensibilities, I kind of prefer the first movie, that doesn't take away from the fact that this is a great one. And I love it too. So, Road Warrior. I do have it also on VHS that has a behind-the-scenes documentary that's not on here, so I still keep this. But yeah, Road Warrior. And who doesn't know the post-apocalyptic world of Mad Max? I mean, by now, really? Then a couple Marvel entries. In that episode, I mentioned that Avengers Endgame was in my Pantheon of favorite films of all time. And the more I thought about it, the more I realized I needed to induct at least these two, because they are also Marvel films that I just love. And you should all know by now that I'm not one of these snobs who puts down Marvel movies just because they're big and popular and do what they do. No, I hate those people, and they can go jump directly off a cliff. So I also added Avengers Infinity War, which leads into Endgame, because I love this one too. Just, I love Endgame more. This brings all the excitement and joy of having all the characters together. Plus, it has some ridiculously excellent Marvel moments. So, Avengers Infinity War. And then I had to go back to the original. The excitement and joy and love for the original Avengers film. Can't deny that. Love this film too, the original Avengers. Bringing all the characters together for the first time. Some iconic moments in this. Just, kind of moments that give you shivers if you're a Marvel fan. This is great too. So this, also in the Pantheon. So there you go. Just a few quick additions for some movies that most people have heard of and or seen. So that's it for this month's Pantheon. Here's something else. And for this episode's bookshelf segment, I have two books that go together that are two of my favorite movie books. And, of course, I have a lot of favorite movie books. But these two are something special. We have the 2 volumes of Video Trash and Treasures by L.A. Morris. These are from 1989 and 1990, respectively. These I picked up, I think I got these both from Amazon, but I can't remember how I got alerted to them. All I know is I got them, and this one was a little harder to get, volume 2. And I have read these cover to cover. Most books with capsule reviews, I don't read cover to cover. I might read particular reviews of particular movies, and just check off that I read that, and jump around the books. These I read cover to cover. These could not read fast enough. What makes these books great? According to what he says in the book, and it's been a while since I've read these, but he essentially went to a video store, or maybe more than one video store, rented like everything, watched like everything, and then wrote books about everything. Actually, not everything, because there is a list in the back of the second book of the remaining movies that he watched but didn't write about. But these are a snapshot into late 80s video store era rental environment. This is like someone going into a mom and pop video shop in the late 80s, let's say, renting everything and then talking about it. And the way that he presents these, I love it. He breaks it down into sections, which are kind of like genres. So you have section 1, creature features, section 2, occult occasions, section 3, slice and dice, section 4, great quests and dangerous journeys, and that's just in the first book. But then he breaks them down into festivals, as in little movie marathons you could have within those sections. So in section 1, creature features, you can have, he breaks it down by themes too. So you could have a little festival of movies about aliens in space. So you could watch Horror Planet, Galaxy of Terror, Creature, Star Crystal, Deep Space, Forbidden World. If you want to watch movies that are specifically under a heading of dining out on Earth, Alien Contamination, The Deadly Spawn, Alien Prey, Alien Predator, Life Force, Demon Warp. Yeah, and it goes on and on. These little festivals, which are broken up into these further headings of mini festivals. And I found that to be great because I actually went through this and did a few of these. Did a few of these little festivals, little marathons, watching some of these movies all at once. You know, if I had them or had access to them, I did that, and it was so much fun. But these are just wonderful resources. They will most likely make you aware of some movies you've never heard of. Even me, they did. Volume 2, their sections are Big Bangs, which is action movies, The Sleaze Factor, Chiller Thrillers, and Significant Others, which is basically an etc. Comedies and dramas that are not just the same old thing, as it says. And each book has 500 plus little reviews, so you got plenty to check out. The only downside is if you're someone like me who doesn't like people being negative about movies. He does get pretty harsh with some of them, pretty dismissive with some of them. But beyond that, these are wonderful resources. And they're ones that I never hear anyone talk about. I don't know that a lot of people are even aware of these. But yeah, Video Trash and Treasures 1 and 2. Check them out. And that'll do it for this episode of The Cinematic Attic. Until next time, everyone, enjoy your movies.